My name is Margaret Williams. I'm 55 years old. Just 6 months ago, I was running a real estate agency with a £40 million turnover. Now I can't even make it to the kitchen without getting dizzy. What I'm living through now feels like a horror movie, yet it's the reality I've found myself in because of my own naivety. The glass is empty, but I clearly remember Elena brought me a full one an hour ago. Or was it yesterday? The days blur into a gray mush, time dripping by like thick honey. The thirst is unbearable. I force myself to get up and, holding onto the wall, slowly make my way toward the door. The hallway is dark except for the thin strip of light seeping out from under the kitchen door. And I hear Elena's voice, my daughter-in-law who quit her job to take care of me. Yes, the will is signed. And the power of attorney, too. I freeze in the middle of the hall. My heart is pounding so loud, she might hear it through the wall. I can't wait for her to finally die. The doctors can't find anything wrong, which means everything's going according to plan. Grandma's recipe never fails. My hand shoots up to cover my mouth. This girl, the one who kisses me on the cheek every morning and calls me Mom, just keep doing what I told you. In a couple of months, it'll all be ours. Yes, I'm sure. The old woman can barely think straight anymore. Horror makes me stumble back. A vase crashes to the floor. Who's there? The conversation cuts off. Margaret, is that you? Elena appears in the doorway. For a split second, her face flashes with irritation, then softens into concern. Mom? Oh my God, what are you doing? You can't get up on your own. She rushes over and takes my arm. Her touch burns. I just wanted some water. Sweetheart, you should have called. I left a full glass right there. I look into her eyes, and for the first time in months of illness, I wonder, who is this woman? And more importantly, can a sick mind still tell reality from delusion? Elena helps me back to bed, fluffs the pillows, brings me water. The perfect daughter-in-law. But now every move of hers feels like part of a performance. You need to rest, Mom. Dr. Reynolds will be here again tomorrow. Dr. Reynolds, our family doctor for 20 years. The same one who can't find the cause of my illness. When Elena leaves, I lie in the dark thinking, maybe I imagined it all. Illness does strange things to the mind. But then, why was the glass empty? I try to remember how it all started. 4 years ago, Sam brought this girl home, a modest, well-mannered Belarusian. Parents dead, raised by her grandmother. Her story touched me. I know what it's like to make your way in a foreign country. Mom, I want you to meet someone special, Sam had said, his eyes shining. Elena remembered every detail of that first conversation. My favorite flowers, white orchids. My favorite tea, Earl Grey. Even the date of my mother's death. A little too attentive for a first meeting, but I was just so happy to see my son happy. After my divorce from Robert, I devoted myself to work and to Sam. Maybe I controlled his life too much. Elena seemed perfect. Independent, smart, loving. The first year after the wedding was wonderful. Elena would often come over for tea, asking about the business, about Nigeria, where I was born. She seemed genuinely interested. And then I started noticing odd things. Once I dropped by, unannounced, wanted to surprise Sam with a pie. Elena opened the door, and for a split second, I saw something off in her eyes. Anger? Fear? But then the smile appeared. The house smelled of something sweet with a bitter edge. Herbal tea. Grandma's recipe for health, Elena explained. A week later, I had my first dizzy spell. Monday morning, right before an important presentation. I was brushing my teeth when the room started spinning. I blamed it on exhaustion. But the dizziness came back. Then weakness. Then brain fog. Dr. Reynolds ran every test. Margaret, everything looks normal. Maybe stress? I don't believe in psychosomatic excuses, but the symptoms got worse. And now I lie here, thinking, what if Aunt Beatrice was right? My mother's older sister. At 70, she was still running her sewing business. Then she suddenly fell ill. Same symptoms, weakness, memory lapses, and she insisted someone was poisoning her, accused her caregiver. She wants me dead, Aunt Beatrice whispered. We thought it was just old age paranoia. The doctors confirmed dementia. A year later, my aunt was dead. Heart failure. The caregiver inherited part of the estate for devoted care. Coincidence? Dawn creeps in through the window. Soon, Elena will come with breakfast and pills. I'll watch closely. At 8 sharp, Elena arrives with a tray. Porridge, tea, pills in a little pink box. Good morning, Mom. Sleep well? I study her face. The usual smile, but something in her eyes. Caution. Or am I imagining it? Not bad. You're up early. Wanted to squeeze in yoga before the doctor. Yoga. 3 times a week. Same time, every time. Elena's nothing if not disciplined. She sets the tray on my nightstand, dips a finger in the tea. Perfect temperature. Drink it while it's hot. I pick up the cup but don't sip. Instead, I ask, Elena, where did you learn to make herbal tea so well? A split-second pause, barely noticeable. From my grandmother. She was, how you say, a healer. Lots of those in Belarus? In villages, yes. Grandma treated neighbors with herbs. Her voice sounds natural enough, but I see her hands tremble slightly as she straightens the blanket. I take a small sip, the same bitter aftertaste I never thought much about before. Tasty. What herbs? Chamomile, mint, a little... How is it in English? St. John's wort? St. John's wort. I've read it can interfere with medications, make them stronger or weaker. Mom, don't forget your pills. 3 white, 1 blue. The ones Dr. Reynolds prescribed. I slip them into my mouth, wash them down with tea, but instead of swallowing, I tuck them under my tongue. Show me your tongue, Mom. My heart skips a beat. Why would she ask that? What? Oh, sorry. Just want to be sure you swallowed. Sometimes elderly people forget. Elderly. I'm 55. I flash my tongue quickly, praying she can't see the pills hidden away. She nods, satisfied. Good. Rest now. I'll be back soon. When the door closes, my hands are shaking. I spit the pills into a tissue and examine them. Ordinary white tablets, except one has a strange scratch, like it was cracked and glued back together. I shove the tissue under the mattress, lie back, and shut my eyes. An hour later, Elena returns. She peeks in, sees me, asleep, quietly closes the door. But I hear her moving around the house, dishes clinking, a phone call. The voice is muffled, but I catch fragments. Plan, doctor, 1 more month. When she leaves for her yoga, I get up. The dizziness is there, but not as bad as usual. Maybe skipping the pills is why. I go to the kitchen. On the table, an open book, not English, Cyrillic letters. I can't read Belarusian, but some words I recognize. Recipes, herbs, something about sleep. I snap photos with my phone and tuck it back into my robe. Next to the book lies a notebook, Elena's handwriting, dates, numbers, short notes. March 15th, increased dose, 2 active. March 18th, good reaction, drowsy. March 22nd, signature on documents. Documents? What documents? I hear the key in the lock. Elena's back early. I hurry to bed, slip the phone under my pillow, and shut my eyes. Mom, how are you feeling? Slept. I feel a little better today. A flicker of irritation crosses her eyes. That's good. Means the medicine's working. Dr. Reynolds arrives at 3. I watch him examine me. Same routine as 20 years ago. Checks my blood pressure, listens to my heart, tests my reflexes. "How are you doing, Margaret?" Strange. Some days better, some worse. This morning, I even made it to the kitchen on my own. I catch a quick glance he throws at Elena. What was that? Worry or just professional concern? That's good news. But don't push yourself too much. Elena nods. I make sure Mom doesn't overdo it. Yesterday, she sat in a chair for half an hour reading the paper. Reading the paper? I don't remember that, though maybe I did. Everything blurs. "Doctor," I say, "could we lower the sleeping pills?" I'm sleeping too much. "Sleep is the best medicine for your condition. Let's keep the dosage for now." He scribbles something in his notebook. Elena. How's she with the medication? Sometimes she forgets. I have to remind her. Forgets. I never forget my pills. Although, last night I almost skipped a dose. Or was that the night before? After he leaves, I'm alone with Elena. She clears the dishes from the lunch tray. "Elena, can I ask you something?" "Of course, Mom. Are you happy with Sam?" She freezes, cup hovering midair. What kind of question is that? It's just, he seems tired lately. Nervous. Work. Big project at the bank. Her voice is steady, but I see her lips tighten. Why do you ask? Mothers worry. I want you both to be happy. Elena sits on the edge of the bed, takes my hand. Mom, you're like a real mother to me. I never had a family. Sam is a good husband, and you... Her eyes glisten with tears. You gave me something I never had. The tears look real. The tremor in her voice sounds genuine. Maybe I really am losing my mind. Sorry for the silly question. Never apologize for caring. That evening, Sam comes by, alone. Elena's out shopping. He looks exhausted, dark circles under his eyes, stubble on his cheeks. How are you, Mom? Better. And you? You look awful. Work. He rubs his temples. Rough patch. Sam, if you need money. No. Too sharp. Then softer. Thanks. But no. I'll manage. Money. Why such a strong reaction? How's Elena? Not worn out from taking care of her sick mother-in-law? Oh, Mom, she loves caring for you. Says it's her calling. Her calling. Interesting choice of words. Sam, have you ever asked about Elena's past before she met you? He stiffens. Why? Mom, what are you getting at? Just curious. She doesn't talk much about Belarus. She has painful memories. Losing her parents, growing up alone. Of course. I understand. But something in his eyes says he's not as sure as he wants to sound. That night, I lie awake, replaying the day. Elena's tears seemed real. Dr. Reynolds acted as usual. Sam is tense, but that could be work. Maybe the conversation I overheard was just a product of my sick imagination. Maybe I really am going mad. I take out my phone, look at the photos of Elena's notebook. In the dark, the screen glows, the handwriting sharp and clear. March 15th, increased dose, too active. Or was it a shopping list? Buy more milk, stop buying so much bread. I stare at the letters, trying to decide. But the longer I look, the less certain I am. What if I'm wrong? What if the illness has already reached my mind? In the morning, I decide to run a little experiment. When Elena brings breakfast, I eat everything down to the last crumb. But while she's turned toward the window, I pour the tea into the pot with the ficus. How's your appetite, Mom? Wonderful. I even finish the tea. She smiles, but her eyes flicker toward the empty cup. Perfect. The appraiser is coming today to value the antiques for insurance. An appraiser? I don't remember arranging that. Is that necessary? You asked for it yourself last week. You said the value of things has gone up. Asked? Maybe I did. My memory fails me more and more often. An hour later, a middle-aged man with a briefcase arrives. He introduces himself as Mr. Harris from London Antique Evaluation. Elena leads him through the house, showing him around, jotting things down. I watch from bed. They carefully examine the painting in the living room, a gift from my first big client. Then the silver tea set I inherited from my mother. Harris makes notes, takes photos. Quite a collection, I hear him say in the hallway, especially the painting. Solid investment. Yes, Mom's always had an eye for beauty, Elena replies. When they leave, I ask, how much is it worth? What exactly, Mom? All of it. The house, the paintings, the furniture. Why do you need to know that? You're not planning to sell, are you? Her voice, there's tension in it. Just curious. Mr. Harris will send the report in a week. Later, Sam calls. Mom, how are you? Elena says you're lively today. Yes, I feel better. Sam, do you know why the appraisal was needed? A pause. What appraisal? The antiques. Elena said I asked for it. I don't know anything about that. I'll ask Elena. After the call, I get up and check the ficus. A week ago, it was lush and green. Now it looks sickly. Yellowing leaves, some already fallen. My heart races. If the tea is poisoning the plant. But then another thought. What if the ficus is just old or not getting enough light? I've never been good with plants. That evening, Elena cooks dinner. I come down to the kitchen for the first time in months. My legs tremble, but they hold. Mom, what are you doing? Miss the kitchen. Mind if I sit and watch you cook? Elena hesitates, then nods. Of course. Sit right here. She pulls a chair away from the stove. I watch her chop vegetables, stir the soup, an ordinary domestic scene. But when it comes to my portion, I notice her adding something from a small jar with no label. What's that? Spices. For flavor. Can I see? What? The jar. Curious what spices they are. Elena presses her lips together but hands it over. Inside is a grayish-green powder. No scent. What is it? Dried herbs. Grandma's recipe for digestion. Why no label? I dried them myself. Why would I need one? Logical. But something inside me screams, don't eat it. You know, I'm not that hungry. Maybe just bread and butter? Annoyance flickers in Elena's eyes. Mom, you need proper meals. You're losing weight. Just not in the mood for soup tonight. Fine. Her voice is steady, but I see her fists clench. That night, I can't sleep. I replay every detail. The appraiser, the ficus, the unlabeled spices. Coincidences or a pattern. I get up and sneak downstairs. In the trash is the empty jar. The same one. No label. Why did Elena throw it out? I fish it out, inspect it. On the bottom are traces of powder. Almost no smell, just a faint sweet note. I hide the jar in my robe and slip back into bed. Tomorrow I'll show Grace. She's a nurse. She'll know what it is, if I'm not losing my mind. Grace O'Connor is the only person I trust. We met in the hospital after my collapse at that presentation. She's a nurse, Irish, sharp tongue, but kind heart. We clicked, two women who had to carve out lives on their own. I call her in the morning once Elena leaves for yoga. Grace, can you come over? I need help. What's going on, love? Can't explain on the phone. Come through the back so no one sees. Grace arrives an hour later, slipping in through the garden gate just like I asked. She studies me. Margaret, you look different. Better than when I saw you in the hospital. Grace, I think someone's poisoning me. She doesn't laugh, doesn't say I'm crazy, just sits down beside me. Tell me everything. I tell her it all. The overheard conversation, the ficus, the unlabeled spices, Elena's strange behavior. Grace listens in silence, nodding now and then. Show me the jar. I pull it from its hiding place under the mattress. Grace opens it, sniffs the residue. Faint smell, but familiar. She thinks for a moment. Mind if I take a sample? I know someone in a lab. Of course. And I'll need your blood. Off the record. Grace pulls a syringe and vial from her bag. She draws the blood quickly, professionally. The results will take a few days. In the meantime, she looks at me gravely. Be careful. If you're right, this is a dangerous game. And if I'm just losing my mind, then the tests will show you're fine. And we'll look for another cause. After Grace leaves, I feel a strange relief. Finally, someone listened, without dismissing me as paranoid. That afternoon, Sam comes by. He looks even worse than yesterday. His suit's rumpled. His hands tremble as he lifts his tea. Sam, are you sure you're okay? I'm fine, Mom. But his voice sounds strained. Where's Elena? She went to the gallery. Wants to go back to work. That's new. Elena told me she'd given up her job completely to care for me. Didn't she quit? No, just took leave. Now she says you're improving and don't need constant supervision. Interesting. So my recovery doesn't fit into her plans? Sam, do you remember how you first met Elena? He looks surprised. Of course. At the gallery on Cork Street. I went in to buy a painting for my flat. And she worked there? Yes, as a consultant. Knew a lot about art. His face softens at the memory. She showed me pieces by little-known artists. Said they were the best investments. Investments, always about money. And she liked you right away? I don't know. We talked about paintings, then I asked her out for coffee. He pauses, then adds quietly. She was so interested. In art, in my job, asked a lot of questions. What kind of questions? About the bank, clients, and the family. The family? Yes, she wanted to know everything about you, your business, the house, your hobbies. Said it was important to understand the family of the man you love, or the family of the man you plan to rob. Sam, did you ever check her references? From the gallery. He frowns. Why would I? Mom, what's with all these questions? Just curious. She hardly talks about her work. She had issues with the owner. Bad memories. There's always an explanation, always logical, always designed to win sympathy. That evening I lie in bed, thinking about Sam's story. Something about it feels rehearsed, like he's told it many times before. What if their meeting wasn't chance at all? What if Elena deliberately set out to find a wealthy young man from a good family? But then doubt creeps in. Maybe I really am paranoid, suspecting the daughter-in-law who gave up her life to care for me. Tomorrow Grace's results should come in. Then I'll know the truth, at least part of it. Grace calls 4 days later. Her voice is tense. Margaret, we need to meet, urgently. Is something wrong? Not on the phone. I'll be there in an hour. Elena's home, cooking lunch. I tell her I'm tired and want a nap. Lock myself in the bedroom and wait. Grace slips in through the window. It helps that I live on the ground floor. Her face is grim. Margaret, your blood shows a high level of benzodiazepines, tranquilizers. Not a lethal dose, but enough to cause drowsiness, confusion, memory problems. My heart starts pounding. And the powder, that's trickier. My contact found plant alkaloids, but couldn't identify them precisely. Definitely something toxic, though in small amounts. So I'm not losing my mind? Absolutely not. You're being poisoned. Slowly, carefully, but poisoned. Relief and terror crashed together in my chest. I was right, but that means Elena really does want me dead. What should I do? Go to the police. With what? I have no proof it's Elena. She could say I'm just taking the meds Dr. Reynolds prescribed. And the powder? Digestive spices. Who could prove otherwise? Grace frowns. Then you need more evidence. And you need to be very careful. How? Keep pretending you suspect nothing. Don't take anything Elena gives you. And record everything. Use a voice recorder. After Grace leaves, I sit on the bed trying to process. If Elena is poisoning me, why? For money. But she's married to Sam. He's my only heir. Unless... What if he isn't? What if I signed papers I don't even remember? I recall Elena's words from that overheard conversation. The will is signed. And the power of attorney, too. I need to find those documents. That evening, while Elena showers, I go down to the study. Important papers are in the safe. The code is Sam's birthday. Elena knows it. I take out the folder with my will. The latest version is dated last month. I read it and ice floods my veins. I bequeath all property to my son, Samuel Williams, and his wife, Elena Williams, in equal shares. Equal shares? I never wrote equal shares. My will was always simple. Everything to Sam. I flip through more pages. A power of attorney for all financial operations. Signed by me, witnessed by Dr. Reynolds. Dr. Reynolds, our family doctor of 20 years. Could he be involved too? Footsteps on the stairs. I shove the documents back in, lock the safe. Mom, what are you doing down here? Elena stands in the doorway, her hair damp from the shower, her eyes alert. Looking for a book. Couldn't sleep. What book? Agatha Christie. Thought 10 Little Indians was here. There's a whole shelf of mysteries in your bedroom. Yes, you're right. Got mixed up. Elena escorts me upstairs, helps me into bed, but I can feel her eyes on me long after she leaves. That night I lie awake, planning. The documents were forged, or I signed them while drugged. Dr. Reynolds is an accomplice. But the real question, does Sam know? My son, the one I raised, gave the best education, built a future for. Could he really agree to murdering his own mother? Or is he just another victim in this game? Tomorrow I'll talk to him, carefully, without direct accusations. I'll watch his reaction. If Sam is innocent, maybe we can stop Elena together. If he's guilty, I don't know what I'll do. Sam comes the next day, alone. Elena is at an interview at a new gallery. He looks terrible. Unshaven, red eyes, his suit hanging off him like a coat rack. Sam, sit down. We need to talk. He sits on the edge of the bed, avoiding my eyes. Mom, if this is about Elena again... It's not about Elena. It's about you. His head jerks up, surprised. Sam, are you in debt? His face drains of color. What? No, Son, I'm your mother. I can see you're suffering. Shaking hands, sleepless nights, the way you flinch whenever money's mentioned. He buries his face in his hands. Mom, I didn't mean... It started as fun. Poker with colleagues on Fridays, then online casinos. I thought I was in control. My heart tightens. My successful, sensible son. How much? $500,000. I take a deep breath. A lot of money, but not the end of the world. Sam, why didn't you come to me sooner? I tried to handle it myself. Took out loans, sold the flat, moved in with Elena, but the debt just grew. Does Elena know? Yes, she offered help. What kind of help? Sam is silent for a long time, then says quietly, her father can provide the money. At low interest. Her father? I thought her parents were dead. Sam flinches. She said it's more like a distant relative. Like a father figure. He's in finance. In Belarus? Not just there. He has an international business. International business. Sounds suspicious. Sam, have you met this man? Once, a month ago, polite, good English. What's his name? Victor Krashevsky. Krashevsky, the same name I heard in that overheard conversation. And what did he offer? To clear the debts. In return, I had to help with some documents. What documents? Sam doesn't answer, but I see it in his eyes. Sam, did you help them alter my will? No. Too fast. I mean, I just told her where you kept the papers and the safe code. Elena said it was for updating the insurance. And the power of attorney? Mom, you signed that yourself. With Dr. Reynolds present? In what state was I when I signed? He doesn't answer. Sam, you were tired. After the pills, but conscious. Did I know what I was signing? Elena said it was for your own good, so we could help with finances if you got worse. I feel the anger rising. My own son helped them rob me. Sam, do you understand what they're doing? What do you mean? They're poisoning me. Slowly, so it looks like natural death. He jumps to his feet. What? Mom, that's insane. Elena loves you. I have proof. Blood tests show poisoning. That's impossible. Think, Sam. My illness started right after Elena began looking after me. She cooks my meals separately, gives me strange herbal teas, makes sure I take every pill. His face shifts. First surprise, then doubt, then horror. But she's my wife. She couldn't. She could. And if I die, under the new will, everything goes to you both. And Victor's debts, you won't have to pay them. He's practically family now. Sam sinks into a chair, burying his face in his hands. Oh God, what have I done? The question is, what do we do now? He looks up, and for the first time, I see resolve in his eyes. Fix it. Stop her. How? I don't know. But I won't let her hurt you, I swear. I look at my son. Weak, foolish, but still my boy. And for the first time in weeks, I feel hope. Maybe together we can outplay Elena. What do we know for sure? I ask. He takes out a notebook, starts writing. Elena's poisoning you. Dr. Reynolds is involved. Victor Krashevsky is funding it. The will is forged. And what can we prove? Blood tests. Forged papers. My testimony of what happened. Enough for the police? Sam shakes his head. Elena can say the meds were prescribed by the doctor. The documents. I had access. I could have forged them. And my testimony. I'm an accomplice. He's right. We need stronger proof. Sam, can you contact Victor? Tell him I've gotten worse. Why? I want to hear what he says. Record the call. Dangerous. If Elena finds out, she won't. You'll say you're calling from the office. Sam hesitates, then nods. All right, but we need a backup plan if it goes wrong. We talk through it. Tomorrow, Sam will call Victor. Say my condition has worsened. Maybe it's time to speed things up. I'll record the conversation. And what about Elena? I ask. Keep pretending you're sick. Take what she gives, but spit it out or pour it away later. She might suspect. Then tell her the meds are working, that you're grateful for her care. Smart. Elena will think the plan is succeeding. That evening, Elena returns from her interview. She looks pleased. How did it go? I ask. Great. They're ready to take me full time, but I'll have to travel a lot. The company has branches in different cities. So I'll be seeing less of you? Unfortunately, yes. But we'll hire a caregiver. I've already found a woman. A caregiver or another poisoner? No need. I feel better. I think I can manage on my own. Elena frowns. Mom, you understand the illness could come back? We can't take risks. Of course. You're right. That night, I lie awake thinking about tomorrow. If the plan works, we'll have proof. If not. At 3 a.m., a noise wakes me. Careful footsteps in the hallway. I pretend to sleep. The door opens softly. Elena steps into the room, comes to the bed. She just stands there, watching me, for a long time. Then she leans down and whispers, "Soon, Mom. Very soon." My heart pounds so hard I'm sure she can hear it. But Elena just adjusts the blanket and leaves. I lie in the dark with wide eyes until morning. At breakfast, Elena acts as usual. Brings food, pills, herbal tea, smiles, asks how I'm feeling. Today, I need to spend half the day at the gallery, signing the contract. Sam will come by at lunch to stay with you. Of course, dear. Good luck with the new job. When she leaves, I pour the tea down the sink, throw away the pills. I feel like a traitor, though I know she wants me dead. At noon, Sam arrives. His face is tense, phone in his hand. Ready? I switch on the recorder, nod. Sam dials, puts it on speaker. "Hello, Victor." It's Sam. "We've got a problem." "What problem?" The accented voice is wary. "Mom's feeling better." She's asking questions. Elena's afraid she suspects something. A pause. "I see. How much time do we have?" "Not sure. Maybe a few days. Then we move faster. Tell Elena to increase the dose. It should look like a heart attack." My hands tremble. He's discussing my death as casually as buying bread. And if the doctors suspect? They won't. Dr. Reynolds will sign the report. Elderly woman ill for half a year. What's suspicious about that? All right, I'll tell Elena. And Sam, once it's done, your debts are forgiven. You have my word. The call ends. I stop the recorder with shaking hands. Enough evidence? Sam asks with pale lips. More than enough. So what now? Sam asks. Now we go to the police. We've got the recording, blood tests, forged documents. And if they don't believe us, or tip Elena off. I hesitate. He's right. The police might want more proof, and we don't have time. Then we make her confess in front of witnesses. How? I'll pretend to be dying. You call the ambulance, and I'll record what she says. It's a risky plan, but we have no other choice. We agree that Sam will tell Elena about the call with Victor, that it has to happen tonight, and I'll prepare for the final act. Elena comes back in the evening in high spirits. How was your day, Mom? Good. Sam stayed with me. We talked. About what? About you. He's so grateful for your care. Elena smiles, but there's a flicker of wariness in her eyes. It's my duty. We have dinner together for the first time in weeks. Elena cooks fish, vegetables, even opens a bottle of wine. Almost a family idyll. To your health, Mom, Elena says, raising her glass. To family, I reply. The fish tastes fine, but I eat cautiously. Who knows what she's added? After dinner, Elena brings my evening pills, more than usual. Dr. Reynolds said to increase the dose. You've been too active today. I obediently put the tablets in my mouth, but hide them under my tongue. Good night, Mom. Good night, dear. I wait half an hour, then spit out the pills. There really are more of them, no doubt the increased dose. At midnight, I call Sam. Ready? Yes. Elena's asleep. Then let's start. I lie down on the floor by the bed, switch on the recorder, and begin groaning loudly. Help! Sam! Elena! A minute later, Elena bursts into the room in her robe. Mom! What's wrong? My heart can't breathe. All right. Don't worry. She helps me up, lays me back in bed. Her face shows concern, but in her eyes, I see something else. Satisfaction? Sam appears. What's happening? Mom's having a heart attack. Call an ambulance. Maybe we should try the medicine first, Sam suggests, according to our plan. No, this is serious. Call an ambulance now. Sam leaves to make the call. Elena stays with me. Don't worry, Mom. Everything will be fine. Elena, if I die, don't say that. No, listen. You've been like a daughter to me. Thank you for everything. Elena leans closer. Mom, you won't die. Not yet. What? I said, you won't die. The doctors will save you, but I know what I heard. Not yet. The recorder will catch it. Elena, do you love me? Of course, Mom. And the will. You know I left everything to you and Sam? Don't think about that now. But you know, a pause, then quietly, I know. And are you happy? I'll be happy when your suffering ends. An ambiguous phrase, but in context, it sounds ominous. Elena, what's in those pills you give me? Medicine, prescribed by the doctor. And the tea? Herbs, for your health. What herbs? Various. Grandma's recipe. For health, or for peace, Elena says softly, then corrects herself. For peaceful sleep. So you rest better. Sirens. The ambulance arrives. Elena, one last question. Do you want me to die? She looks straight into my eyes. I want you to be happy. And sometimes, happiness only comes with death. The paramedics enter. Elena steps back, her face snapping back into its mask of concern. Doctor, please help her. But I've already heard enough. The recorder has her confession. Not direct, but with the other evidence. Convincing. The medics check me, take my blood pressure. Stable condition. Possibly a panic attack. But better to run tests at the hospital. No, I say. I'm fine. It was a false alarm. Elena looks startled. Mom, you need an examination. What I need is the police, I say calmly. Elena turns pale. What? The police. I want to report an attempted murder. Her face goes chalk white. Mom, you're not yourself. The medication is affecting you. Sam, play the recording, I say evenly. Sam pulls out the recorder, presses play. Victor's voice fills the room. Then we move faster. Tell Elena to increase the dose. It should look like a heart attack. Elena freezes. The medics exchange glances. And this is your voice, dear, I continue, starting the second recording. I want you to be happy. And sometimes, happiness only comes with death. One of the paramedics reaches for his radio. We need police here. Possible attempted homicide. Elena bolts for the door, but Sam blocks her way. Sam, move! You love me. I loved Elena. Who are you? She turns toward me. There's no trace of false tenderness now, only cold fury. You think you're so clever that you've outplayed me? Looks that way. You have no direct proof. Recordings can be faked. The medicine was prescribed by a doctor. The herbs are just folk remedies. And the blood tests? What about them? The benzodiazepines were prescribed by Dr. Reynolds. The plant alkaloids. Just herbs. Nothing fatal. She's right. Legally, it won't be easy to prove. But there's one problem, I continue. Dr. Reynolds is already giving a statement. Elena flinches. What? While you were at your interview, Sam and I paid him a visit. Showed him the recordings. Offered cooperation in exchange for leniency. It's a bluff, but she doesn't know that. He couldn't. We had an agreement. An agreement? About what? Elena realizes she's slipped. Her face goes even paler. Nothing. I didn't mean it like that. The doctor told us plenty. About forged reports, about other patients, about you and Victor's plans. That's a lie. And he gave us an address where Victor can be found. Police are on their way. Elena sinks into a chair. Her hands tremble. You don't understand. I had no choice. There's always a choice. No, Victor isn't just a businessman. If I don't follow the plan, he'll kill me. And Sam, too. Sam steps forward. Elena, why didn't you say something? We could have found another way. What way? He's got connections everywhere. Police, courts, hospitals. He's untouchable. Then why agree to work for him? Elena is silent for a long moment. Then she speaks quietly, because he's my father. Silence. Even the medics stop rustling their papers. What? Sam breathes. Victor Krashevsky is my father. Everything I told you about my family, it was a lie. My mother died when I was 10. My father, he raised me his way. His way? Taught me how to use people. Find their weaknesses. Gain their trust. By 14, I was working for him. Small scams at first, then bigger jobs. She looks at Sam, something like remorse in her eyes. Meeting you wasn't chance. He studied your family, a wealthy mother and only son drowning in debt, the perfect target. So you never loved me? At first, no. It was a job. But later, her voice shakes. Later, I realized I did love you. And your mother, too. For the first time in my life, I had a real family. Then why? Because my father doesn't let go. He never lets go. I tried to leave, but he found me. Said if I didn't finish the plan, he'd kill everyone I loved. Sirens wail outside. The police arrive. Elena, I say, if that's true, help us stop him. How? Testify. Tell them everything you know about his operation. He'll kill me. Not if he's behind bars. Elena looks at me, then at Sam. In her eyes, fear battles with hope. All right, she whispers. I'll tell them everything. At the police station, Detective Inspector Harris begins my statement. Mrs. Williams, your evidence is compelling. Recordings, blood tests, forged documents, it's enough for prosecution. And Elena? She's giving a full statement. Telling us about her father, Victor Krashevsky. He's a crime boss specializing in inheritance fraud. According to our data, at least 8 victims in 5 years. 8 people. I could have been one of them. Krashevsky was arrested at the airport. Dr. Reynolds is cooperating too. He was paid for false diagnoses and forged reports. At home, Sam looks shattered. Mom, Elena asked me to give you this letter. I read it. Elena, or rather Elena, writes about how the job turned into real feelings. She asks for forgiveness she doesn't deserve, and she gives the location of her father's hidden files, lists of victims and plans for new schemes. Do you believe her? Sam asks. About her feelings? Maybe. About the documents? Definitely. This is her way of atonement. We find the files and hand them over to the police. Victim lists, bank accounts, operations planned in other countries. And what about us? Sam asks. You'll beat the addiction. Get treatment, and I'll learn to trust again. Do we have a chance? We do. But only if you truly change. A year later, I learn Elena was sentenced to 10 years. Victor Krashevsky, 25, to be served in an international prison. Dr. Reynolds, 8 years, and a lifetime ban from medicine. Sam is in therapy for gambling addiction. He works at a small consulting firm now. The pay is modest but honest. He's paying off his debts himself, refused my help. I want to earn back your trust, he said. I sold the real estate agency. At 75, it's time to think of the soul, not profit. I donated part of the money to a senior aid foundation in memory of Mrs. Campbell and the other victims. Sometimes I get letters from Elena in prison. I don't reply, but I read them. She's helping the investigation, exposing her father's other schemes, already saving 5 potential victims. Can a person change? I don't know. But everyone deserves a chance to try. Sam comes every Sunday for lunch. We talk about work, his therapy, his plans for the future. Trust is returning slowly, but it is returning. Yesterday he asked, "Mom, do you regret that all this happened?" No. Better bitter truth than sweet lies. And it's true. I almost died, but I gained a new son. I lost my illusions, but I found the truth. And truth, as they say, sets us free, even when freedom comes through pain.